There it is. Hang on.
This shit's fire.
So what'd you think of that one?
Oh, it's very cool. Very cool. Super cool.
Yeah, man. Actually, Jules did that, and he showed me. And I was like, man, how'd you do that? So he actually uploaded it up here so I could do it all the time. I was like, dude, that's absolutely awesome, man.
Right. Yeah, definitely needs to happen every time.
Yeah, absolutely. But listen, everybody, we are live. Welcome to another Pin to Gas podcast, and it's an honor to sit here with my friend Ryen Snooks today. I can't wait. Yeah, dude, what is going on? I've been super excited about this one since we met in Jersey. We've been talking a lot since then, but yeah, I want to get into it, Ryen. So what's up, man? How's everything going?
What's up, everybody? I'm Ryen Snooks from Ready to Ride in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Super pumped to be here on the podcast. I've done a few of them, but this is one of my favorite ones that obviously explores around the world. So honored to be here and talk about some of the things we got going on, engine buildings and Daytona 200 and how we got here. So it's really, really cool to be here. Thank you.
Man, listen, it's my honor, bro, for real. Absolutely my honor. And this is everybody. This is just part one of many that we're actually going to do. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But yeah, Ryen, again, bro, it's a beautiful day here in Virginia. The weather's actually nice. It rained a little bit, but now the sun's out and
turned around here too. It's like 72 degrees, 74 degrees or something right now. It's beautiful.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Can't ask for better than that.
Right. I wish it would stay like this year round, but unfortunately that's not the case. You know?
Yeah, North Carolina, it's 50-50, you know.
Yeah,
Same in Virginia.
It is, absolutely. My man Steve Vasblom is watching. He says, Jacksonville. I rode for the team Yamaha Endurance in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Nice,
wow.
Man. Yeah, Steve's really cool, man. I'm actually gonna have a chat with him here soon. He's actually in New Zealand, man. So it is Sunday there, not Saturday. It's just like when I do some of the Australians, like Cameron Swain, right? I actually had the time mixed up. I was like, because they're 16 hours ahead, and so I was like,
oh wow,
yeah. It makes it a little bit tricky, right, with the whole timing of getting them on time of day.
Right.
But yeah, we make it work. But anyway, Ryen, enough about all that. We're here for you, man. I'm excited to hear your story, man. This is what it's all about, man. So let's take it from the very beginning, Ryen.
Yeah, it's been one heck of a journey doing motorcycles. I think anybody can attest that, like, once you pick this sport, it's like you either dabble in it for a while or you jump in. And like, I'm definitely one of those riders that jumped in. When I was a kid, I had a dirt bike. When I was like 14, that was when I got my first one, and nobody ever really taught me about nothing except how to take off. So, you know, I rode it around the yard and stuff, but that was as far as I really went with it. Once I was old enough to buy a street bike, I bought a CBR 1000. Somehow survived my first 2 years of riding around on the street on something like that with no experience or skill or need for, you know, that type of horsepower.
Man, that was your first bike, a CBR 1000. What an introduction to the street, man.
Yeah. I don't even know why. I went to the store and, you know, there's this beautiful pearl white CBR 09 CBR 1000. And as soon as I sat on it, I was, you know, honestly, it was just like, I'm going to go to the store and buy one. I don't know what it's going to be, but this one, you know, connected with me. And I cherished that thing for years. And I ended up, that's what I did my first track days on and started getting entry level into the road racing, you know, doing amateur stuff. I had a couple big crashes over 100, 120, 150 mile an hour, and was really like an eye opener, you know, how capable those machines are, not of only of how capable they are to ride as a stock motorcycle, but how capable they are of hurting you, you know? Yeah. And so after there was a big crash at VAR and I got super hurt, so I was out for a while. But I was like, well, it's like $5,000 to fix my bike, but I could buy this Ninja 300 for $2,500. And I was like, well, maybe I should do that. And so I did. And it was easier for me to kind of piece that one together and start getting into it. And that was the best decision I ever made as far as a racer, taking that big step down. And it kind of, it sucked as a man to be like, oh, now I'm going to ride a little girl's bike or whatever. But that transition, it slowed things down enough for me and like where my brain was at to start picking things up. So, and I did the CCS ASRA championship for like 2 years on that, and started to become a little successful even in the expert class. So I was like, all right, well, kind of, figured it out. You got to roll. It's so much faster than you think's capable, and the 300 really allows that to happen. There's no way you're going to be anywhere near the front if you're grabbing that brake lever.
Yeah. No, you're right. And dude, listen, I'm a huge fan of putting your pride to the side and jumping on that smaller bike. Man, you learn so much.
Yeah.
Riding a slow bike fast, then riding a fast bike slow. You don't learn nothing. Riding a fast bike slow, you're timid, you're scared, you're not relaxed, so therefore you're not advancing. It is. It's so much to take at one time versus a lot of the guys, us men, especially us men, right? Oh, I'm the fastest. I got the biggest balls in the world. I can handle this, no problem, right? And then you get on it, and this little guy on his 300 just waxes your ass, and you're like, wait a minute, right? But yeah, it's that's why I'm a big advocate. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, you're good. I was 19 years old. I was still in the Marine Corps, so I had these fresh Marine blood in me. I was like, well, I'm not getting no little bike, and so it took for me. I think I was out. I had retired from that and finished that job and had started actually working on bikes when I transitioned to the smaller one. I had to take a big step back, and it was there probably wasn't any way I was going to do it when I was even younger. So I was like 22 then at that point, 23. So I was still started a little late in the game, and that's probably 20 when I was 22 is when I really started racing it. So yeah, definitely into the 20s. I see that all the time with our local guys. They're riding the brand new ZX6, brand new ZX10, whatever, and nobody wants to slow down. They even think that going to the track is slower than what they're doing out on the street sometimes. It's kind of amazing. That's definitely not the case. You can only go faster at the track. It's pretty cool. But so yeah, after I experimented with the 300, I got an SV650, and I worked a little bit with Russell Mascar and Billy Pedro and a bunch of people who were well tuned in the SVs. Mine was a 2003 model. I was still racing that in 2019, so it was a 15, 16-year-old bike, and that's what I did my first Moto America qualifier on. Oh, let me back up. The only reason I could ever get to Moto America is because I got on that 300, but then we wanted an endurance race. We saw that the team challenge, and there wasn't a ton of competition in the lightweight series. There's 3 or 4 bikes that were moving pretty good. And myself and one of my mechanics here at the shop thought that it would be a great idea to put one of these SVs together and do that with what turned out to be with Billy Pedro. And we did the whole series for a couple of years, and I think we finished twice both years. We didn't win it, but that really, lit a fire up under us to keep doing it, because not only is it, we're still building as riders, and we use that mentality to push each other, that you're never perfect. The bike's never going to be perfect. You can always improve, and we just keep pushing each other and stuff. So it was a really cool team building experience. Sometimes 2 or 3 riders, or sometimes we'd go to the race and do it solo. We actually showed up to Summit Point one time and did the 100 laps, or 3 hours, or 100 laps was the race. And Ed and I both showed up with our SVs, and we thought that it was a 2-hour race and turned out to be a 3. And that was one of the most grueling and testing things that I ever did on a motorcycle. But after that, you do something really hard, like a 3-hour race and 100 degrees, everything else has been easier since then, so now we sign up for the 2-hour races on purpose, solo. And the whole team now, everyone kind of they see what's capable, so now they're pushing each other, and everybody wants to do better, and it's been really cool. It all stemmed from taking that step back and getting on a bike that you can only improve on. We're still experiencing the fastest lap records on the 400s, and they're the same bike, so they're it's a bike that can only be improved on. You can only find more of the limit or whatever, and especially here with our American riders, we can definitely only improve.
No,
Here in America.
absolutely, man, absolutely. And then CJ Cohen, what is up, my man? He's racing in the
Hey,
Daytona
what's up, bro?
200. Yeah, CJ's
Oh,
absolutely
very
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, he says Snooky. Yeah. And
Nice.
then my man Steve again. What is going on, Steve? He says, really and truly, the 300 class made you a racer, right? So taking you from that 1,000, not really learning a lot, step down to a 300. That really honed your racecraft, right? You really got to know what a bike really feels like when the front's pushing or tucking or just everything that goes along with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been really fortunate. Haven't crashed them much. It's kind of hard to crash them. I mean, the tires are so capable, and as long as you have some proper equipment, it's amazing how fast you can go on them. And like I said, using less and less and less brake and getting comfortable with the upright to leaned over braking. There's that portion where you're, the tipping, and you're modulating a lot of brake there. And the 300 just gives you a little bit more time to think about that stuff. It's not so aggressive and extreme. And it really allowed me to learn. And then the other thing that you were saying is like growing as a racer, or your race etiquette, and not making the pass at the wrong time, because if you do on the 300 and you run wide, you're losing positions, for sure. So you really have to be smart and plan those timings of when you're going to make the passes. So like I said, we still ride the 400 now. I think it's been a great tool. I'm kind of ready to turn it over to somebody. I want somebody else to ride my bike, but I won the championship last year, so it's hard for me. It's hard for me to want, to say, here's my championship without even giving a contest to it. I want to try.
Yeah.
And at least push Logan if he's doing it with me. It's really fun to compete with him, and I know that he gives it his all, and bumps me around a little bit and pushes me to my absolute limit. So I'm only continuing to learn on it. And like I said, they're rather safe. When you do crash them, it's usually pretty gnarly, but there isn't really, it's either like you fall over or it's super fast. So, but they're really good bikes for experimenting and pushing and just trying different things. So highly recommend them, especially racing them. It's the best part. You get 20 of them on a racetrack, and there's nothing like it. If you're all superbike riders, it's super cool to race superbikes, but there's usually like 3 to 5 of those people who know what they're doing on those bikes.
Plus the cost is a whole lot more, right? With the superbike versus 400 for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Your tires
100%.
last all day instead of one race.
Right. Yep. And then my mate Chris Lewis, man, is in the house all the way from the UK, man. He says, hello
up,
there.
Chris?
How's it going? Yeah, Chris is absolute awesome, man. Yeah, I see him all the time on here. I actually sent him some stickers in the mail. He should be getting, I mean, it'll take a while. I sent him out the other day. So yeah, it should he'll get them sometime, right?
That's cool.
But yeah, Steve says she said that's why the SV series is so good. It's all about corner speed, and it teaches you how to corner steer, brake leaned over. Yeah, like trail braking for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And
yeah,
there's a lot. Go ahead. Sorry, Ron.
No, what's up?
No, I was gonna say there's a lot to be said. As you're entering the corner, trail braking, letting off the brakes, getting back on the gas, and standing it back up. There's a method to that madness right there, and you can make up a lot of time just in that little window. I mean, it's a small window.
Yeah. Well, you have no power, so you're maximizing how much track you need and how much track there is. You like sometimes you have to use the absolute limits of the track, but then there's other times where using the absolute limit is like 2 or 3 extra feet that you don't need. And you kind of have to find that medium of like, well, where do I maximize the track? Where do I not need to go to the edge of the track? And it helps you learn those capabilities of the track itself. I don't know, with leader bike or 600, you don't have any time to think about how, what you feel like you're at the edge of the track, but you're like a foot away from it. On the 400, you're like, oh shoot, I'm a foot away from the edge of the track. You can see it, there's just time or whatever. But especially like on the 650, that's like the class that starts really implementing the rear brake, I feel like. And like the next step, like I used the rear brake a little bit on the 400, but it's not needed quite as much, especially with the slipper clutches they got. It works rather well. So but that next level, you got to implement the rear brake. So it's like exactly the maximizing corner speed with these little wiggly frames and using the brakes properly as little as possible. A super fun class. I had a blast racing. I raced the twins class for 2 years, full years, and that's my first step into the pro stuff with Moto America. I raced at VAR, and that was I wish we still raced at VAR. It's definitely one of my favorite places, man.
Me too.
Just a really beautiful facility, and it's honestly, that's a place that's an honor to even go to. It was something really special. So it's a bummer to not be there, but that's where I had my best success. I feel like I started my first race 36th in the twins class. So I was dead last because I crashed in qualifying the first lap like an idiot. So they put me last, but provisionally started me. I worked my way up to 12th place after the 20 laps or whatever, and that motivated me more than anything. And I was just trying to get out there and do it. We had poor conditions for qualifying that morning, qualifying 2. And when I went out there and I fell, I was like, well, shoot, they're not going to let me race. And they did. And I was like, well, I'm not, like, I got to show something. I can't finish 35th, or whatever. Like, I actually got to do something. And I rode my little heart out on my 03 SV 650. And then I was like, all right, we're going to do this. So I built that FZ07 and kept improving it and stuff. And BartCon Racing kind of saw that I was doing everything on my own. And even at the end of the day, my wife and I, or myself and the team, whoever was with me, we'd walk around the pits and say hi to everybody and still kind of communicate. So BartCon Racing picked me up for the 21 season, and I raced with Dominic Doyle and Kayla Yakov, which was like, another huge honor to, like, these are some serious riders. Dominic's always proven himself on any machine he rides, and then same with Kayla. I mean, she proves herself anywhere around the world.
Absolutely.
Just a supreme talent. And so it's cool because now we all have a connection and a friendship that, like, stayed with us after, we all split apart from the team or whatever. And, we all just grew up out of the to the next ride. So it's like, it's been super cool. And like I said, it all started with moving down and then being able to move to that middle class. I'm an adult, so I should be riding a twin or above, but I just have so much fun on the smaller bikes. I mean, that's what we preach, it's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be all work. And riding a 600 or a leader bike it's an immense amount of work while you're riding the bike. Yeah. But it's a ton. Yeah. There's nothing like 180 plus horsepower. There's nothing like that. So you got to have fun. There's fun on that, but it's competitive. It's a competitive series. It's expensive.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm a huge Twins fan anyway. I've always, from the first V twin I rode, I was like, this is it. This is where it's at. Forget the 199 mile an hour. I'm trying to come out the corner like a raped ape, right? And that twin, and they sound so good. Yeah, there's news.
Aprilias are shaking up the field, and I'm really excited to see the S8 or the Suzuki's 800 or 880 cc or whatever cheater bike they brought out now.
Right, 870 or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, we need to expand the class, so hopefully Honda, they have that Honda Hornet out. It's like an 800 cc. Hopefully someone can get that going, and I'd love to see the class expand and then open it up a little bit more, where the other bikes can do kind of whatever. So we'll see at Daytona. I know the Chris Ulrich's M4 Suzuki SVs, whatever, they're going to be fast. You know what I mean? They're not going to bring them if they're not fast. So
No,
if they've signed up, then they know what's up. So
absolutely.
it'll be cool. It'll be cool. You know, with uh, the Robum bikes and all these, and a bunch of new teams. There's a couple other new teams that are coming out too. So that'll be really good. Stacked class as well as the super sport and then super bikes growing as well. So it's all good stuff.
It absolutely it is. Matter of fact, my friend Rossi Moore is on the new Suzuki.
Yeah, Rossi Moore. That's right. Great kid.
Yeah, dude, that's my dude, man. All you guys are my dudes, man. But yeah, it's Rossi's. Yeah, man, absolutely.
Amazing talent. I was watching him. He actually first really showed out to us at the mini GP stuff when they were racing the Ovales a few years ago, and I would point him out to Logan. I said, "Look at how fluid he is on the motorcycle and how capable he is of moving around. I mean, just an extremely loose rider and very fluid, and that's proven itself obviously in his finishes that it works really well. So it's great to see. It's great to see him continue and get a ride and and do something. Hopefully this year, I think he'll do great, especially with his teammate.
Absolutely. You know, it's when there's certain people you see and you watch, their style's just different than everybody else's, right? They just do things on a motorcycle that makes it look easy and how fluid they are. And Rossi is absolutely one of those guys. I'm not saying that my friend Avery's any slower, or Levi Batty, or any of my other friends. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying his riding style is just different.
Got a clean style. Yeah,
absolutely, very, very clean. And it's really a pleasure to watch. Everybody is too, right? But you just it don't seem like he's even trying. It just he's so smooth with it. It reminds me a little bit of Max Biaggi back in the day, or Jorge Lorenzo, right? That style that's non-aggressive, it's super fluid, super smooth. Yeah, constantly moving around on the bike. It's absolute honor to see. And then we got Robert Langford. He says Daytona bike is the same bike Posh rode at Loudon.
Yep. Yeah, the bike we're actually here. You guys want to see it real quick?
Absolutely, we want to see it.
Just give me 1 second.
Yeah.
This is
we like the show and tell.
Yeah, this is our shop. It's about 1,200 square feet of motorcycles crammed into a building. But the bike was ridden by Brandon Posh at Loudon. The owner of it is actually giving a little jazz right now, Philip Bailey. Right now, we're just currently doing some safety wire stuff and working the special brake pads. And this bike has the complete I2M Chrome data system, as well as potentiometers and quick shift auto blip. We've done the full GYTR engine now, so that's the head and cams and pistons and rods and crank and clutch. So we're hoping to have some serious power. It was completely together yesterday for our grand opening of the new store, but today we're finishing the potentiometer on the rear shock and a couple other little safety wire bits and stuff.
Absolutely awesome, man. There's a lot
there's so much that goes. Oh yeah, dude.
Bro,
the parts to that engine was over $10,000. I don't even like saying that out loud because Philip cringes every time he hears it. But
I bet I cringed too. I was like, "Oh,
parts, dude, parts." That's why we do it all ourselves. So a few years ago, that's kind of what it came to. Like I said on the SV and stuff, I was like, "Well, I need more power. 78 horsepower or 80 horsepower. It ain't gonna cut it. What do I do?" Like, you guys are killing me on a straightaway, and we were going to Road America. So Mike Copulus is a big supporter of us and has given me some numbers and some information over the years, and got me some pistons, gave me some information some secret data, So it threw pistons and cams in one of the SVs and got it to like 85 horsepower or whatever. But we made it out to Road America, and I actually had a good time. Learned a lot. Don't wait to the last day to put your engine together and stuff like that. But
right?
uh, once I, you know, you can only pay someone in this sport really once to do something, and then you're like, all right, it's too expensive. I need to do it myself. Unless you have, enough money, and building an engine can cost $5,000, and you might need two of that in a year. I've raced on that budget, $10,000. I've
Yeah.
competed for a whole year where you get only one set of tires every race, or you only get one rear or something like that, and you go and use used front tires, and whatever it takes. We've done whatever it takes over the last 6 years to make it happen. So um, I went to Daytona last year, and MFD Garage helped me out. They're in Florida, like a YouTube promotional channel.
Mhm.
Um, they let me borrow their bikes for Daytona. And he said, hey, they haven't been ridden in a few years, but if you pick them up, service them, you can take them down. It was the bike that Jeff May rode in 2019,
Nice.
which was very cool. So I knew that when he told me that, and I saw that year's race, Jeff was up in the front. So I was like, all right, well, let's grab him. But let's put into perspective, this was 3 years ago. We get the bikes, service them up, get them all ready. About 125, 130 horsepower, older Gen R6s, so quick shifters, that's about it, pretty standard builds. Back then, you couldn't do anything to the R6 engine. So, I mean, it's basically a stock engine with like a freshed up head and whatnot. And so they were still great running bikes, but on at Daytona around the banking, we were losing 7 seconds. So in the infield, I was within a half a second of everybody else, right? But then you get onto the banking and you lose 7 seconds in that 2 miles from one end to the other, So I was like, all right, well, we can't come back next year with the same thing. It's just not going to work. We need some more power. And these guys, they're Ducatis. I'm sure they're over 140, 150 horsepower, which is just absolutely insane. But they'll be clicking off 180 mile an hour every lap this year. No problem, after they got a test run last year. And then, so this year, I think there's like 10 Ducatis on the field. But
Yeah.
to compete with that, and the lap times are going to be incredibly fast. To compete with that, you got to have some type of horsepower. So luckily, Philip was putting this bike together and asked me to build the engine. And after we're like halfway through it, he's like, I think you should race this at Daytona. And I was like, I don't think that's a good idea, man. And he's like, no, man, that's a good idea. And
Let's do it.
I tried talking him out of it like 10 times, but he twisted my arm enough and said, get your license and you can use the bike. That was right around the time that Brandon rode it. So we put the bike together for Brandon to ride it with a stock engine. So he had a stock engine that allowed him. And now we've refitted a few things and got the quick change wheels and tank. And, like I said, made it something kind of special for endurance, especially with the data. So we can, hopefully have someone like Brandon or another talented rider ride it again with us and use that data back and forth. That's invaluable stuff to say this is possible. You're slow here,
Yeah, for
stuff like
sure.
that. Immediate. We really stepped up for the team with the data stuff these last couple of years because like I said, the invaluableness of it. Little Logan, the racer that I support, is doing a junior cup, and we got data on his bike last year. We found portions of the track things that we didn't even think were possible. You think that a rider is going full pinned to the brakes, right? I mean, that's what we assume that we're doing. There was portions of the track where he was going full pinned, sitting up, and then braking. And we're talking about 0.2 of a second or 0.4 of a second or whatever, very minimal amount of times, but there was moments that he was looking, searching, braking, instead of driving directly to a moment and going directly to the brakes. So by finding that, it made him a second faster, and that's something that you would never see without data. You would just assume that the rider's doing it correctly, and you can't tell them that they're because what do if you don't have data, what do you focus on? Suspension, what the rider says, and horsepower. And
that's it. That's all you got. Yeah.
That's all you can really.
That's it.
Yeah, the bike's maintained. It's not shaking, right? No, it feels good. Like, are you revving out? No. Okay, then. I mean, what more can we really do?
Yeah.
But now we have this instrument that, the front end shaking here and here, and you can see on the graph irregularities.
Irregularity. Yeah, I get tongue twisted too. So yeah.
I might have made that one up.
It's all good. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it first on Pin to Gas. I love it.
Yeah. So, I must be hungry because I'm waiting to eat my Chef Eats, which is the newest sponsor of Ready to Ride. If you'd like to get some Chef Eats for yourself, you can use the promo code SLOW2PRO, all caps, SLOW TO PRO, and save 10%.
Love it, dude. Big shout out to Chef Eats.
Yep. Yeah, they're great, and this is some good stuff. It's all vacuum sealed. Inside the package. This is the salmon. It's delicious. I'm actually gonna throw it back in the fridge since I didn't eat it yet.
Yeah, no, go ahead, man. I actually I had Jeff on the podcast, and dude, we become really good friends. And he actually sent me. Thank you so much, Jeff, again for sending me. He sent me 6 Chef Eats. Took them to work with me every day, and they're cool. Absolutely amazing. I tell everybody.
Yeah, they're really good. And you don't be afraid to jazz them up. Everyone thinks that, like, you get these meals and you're like, sometimes like, I feel like it doesn't have enough flavor. Like, I don't have the problem with Chef Eats. Someone told me this about a different brand, but I was like, put a little sauce on it. You know what I mean? That's all you got to do. You don't have to stick to the package. I mean, geez, but they're delicious for me. And my favorite one's the steak, especially like on the weekends where you're riding so much. And then, when do you ever get to cram a steak down? Never, but it makes the package so easy. You throw it in the microwave. It's in between session or whatever, and you can eat 30 grams of protein and a really good food, and that's or more, and that's invaluable. Especially
absolutely.
how easy it is to store them, and just keep it in the cooler or the fridge.
And I've tried like Hello Fresh, and there's another one I tried, right? It's just because it's like, it is expensive to go in the grocery store. It's almost the same cost. It's, it was okay. But when I tried the Chef Eats, I was like, this is absolutely amazing. Like, I didn't have to put any salt on it. And usually I put salt on not everything, but dude, salt just makes everything better, right? So I really watch what I eat, but I just put just a tad bit, right? But with his, man, I think my favorite meal, he sent me a breakfast Philly omelet. I had fettuccine Alfredo, a goat cheese kind of chicken Alfredo thing. Now that was absolutely amazing. They all are. It was really, really good, man. Absolute. Listen, Chris Parrish is in the house. What is up, Chris?
Oh, what's up, Chris?
Yeah. Snooks, I need 10 push-ups pronto for Daytona.
Got you, Chris.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Yeah, it is. It's what Jeff Servin is doing for the sport and helping everybody out, providing them just the best meals you could have there. It's 3 minutes and 30 seconds in a microwave. I mean, you can't beat that.
Right. Well, and like I said, the storage, I mean, with it being vacuum sealed, I don't know how many times I've gone to pull out a pack of hot dogs or meat or whatever, and it's soaked of water out of the cooler. I mean, with these, you put them on a bag of ice or whatever, and it honestly is no problem at all. So much better than the competitor.
Absolutely.
He's thinking with this one. He's a good man. Good thoughts. And he honestly, they do it all themselves, and they're trying to promote the healthy lifestyle. So that's all that we can ask for. We eat so much fast food, being on the road and everything all the time. That's all we can ask for is something healthy.
Yeah, I changed my diet completely up, dude. You wouldn't know it, dude, but I weighed like 260 pounds. I was almost on a size 40 waist, bro. I'm in a 34 now. I'm like 202.
Heck yeah, man. Congratulations.
Appreciate it, man. It was hard work, right? It's not just changing my diet. I changed my diet. I do my breathing exercises. I do like the Wim Hof method where I do the 30 deep breaths, and then I hold my breath and I'll knock out push-ups, and I try to do like a certain amount of push-ups a day, and just watch what I eat. No fast food, no processed. I mean, I try to limit my processed food I take in, right? I like to cook at home, so I make a lot of things from scratch. I make my own salad dressings. I don't buy store-bought salad dressings.
Oh, that's cool. Those are always the best. Whenever some of my family's into, some gourmet cooking and stuff, and they make all their own stuff and crave that kind of food.
Yeah, But being on the road, right? Sometimes you have no choice. It's so when I take trips, right, we'll stop like at a Sheetz or a Wawa, or of course, if I go to my main one, Bucky's, I'm getting beaver nuggets and all that good stuff, right? Yeah, of course, I'm an indulge there. But usually, like if I go to Sheetz or Wawa's or something, I'll buy like a bunch of fruits, apples, oranges, grapes, strawberries, and like a little thing of beef jerky just to get some protein. So I'm not, just absolutely starving 20 minutes again down the road.
Yeah. I like how that's getting more popular to have the little cups of fruit at gas stations. You know what I mean?
It
helps a lot to get some grapes, and my kids love those little like strawberries and stuff like that.
Me too. And it's good for you, right? So it's hard to stay away from a lot of processed sugar, which is so bad for you, man. It's absolutely so bad for you. It's better to stick with your natural sugars, is like what's in your fruits, your nectarines, your peaches, your strawberries, your grapes, your avocado. Dude, I'm a big avocado fan. Ryan, you could put 30 avocados in front of me and I will straight smack every single one of them.
Oh man.
Dude, I love avocados. Dude,
what's the secret behind that stuff? Like, why is it so good for you? The guacamole or whatever.
Dude, so it's an avocado is a superfruit. I'm not sure exactly what's in it, but it's very, very healthy for you. A lot of people don't like it, but bro, this is all I do is I'll cut it in half. I'll take the pit out, take a spoon, put it in a thing, squeeze some fresh lime on it, and just a little bit of salt, maybe a couple of tomatoes and some onions. And dude, I'll just take the pit out and just eat it by the spoonful. It's absolutely good.
Well, maybe it's the secret. I eat it, but I don't eat it like that.
Yeah, you should, man. It's really.
I will
good,
give
man.
it a whirl.
Yeah, yeah, very good, very good. And I also cut out like a bunch of beer. Right, I used to be a fucking heavy beer drinker, so I cut a lot of the beer out. But don't get me wrong, I still love my Guinness. It's my favorite beer is Guinness. I do like Mexican beer, but every once in a while I'll have one. I don't feel guilty about it neither, right? Because I'm not doing it every day and all the time like I was. Next thing I know, I was 140 pounds soaking wet. And then I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I'm like almost 260. And I'm like, bitch, I can't even see my toes or nothing, right? I was like, I can't. Like, I'm done with this, right? So, yeah, it's
happens fast, man. Dude,
it really does.
Gets carried away and you get focused on work and whatever. You got to remember to focus on you. Try and focus on you every day.
Well, it's like
I try and look at myself in the mirror every day. Give myself a good look.
Listen,
give myself a good look.
Dude, listen, I do this, and I said this a lot. Like, no bullshit, dude. Before every podcast, I look at myself in the mirror and I have a prep talk. It's my way.
Oh, I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, dude. It's my way of, my nerves, right? Just the anxiety and all this that comes along with the podcast. I get so excited to sit down, even though we're friends. Me and you, friends. We've been friends for a while. Let's say we're 20 years down the road. We're friends. I'm still podcasting. I'm gonna get that same anxiety and that same nerves just by having you back on again, just because it's. I don't know. It's just something about podcasting, right? In order for me to deal with that, I have a conversation in the mirror. I look at myself. I tell myself, you got this. Pin the gas, baby. Ryen Snooks is coming on. We're going to have so much fun. A really good time. Let's go. Dude, seriously. My wife's like, what the hell are you doing in the bathroom? And I'm in there. I'm talking to myself. I'm
my own hype man right now.
Yeah, I'm shoot, absolutely. And, I listen. Also, man, is I've been making it a habit here lately to tell myself that I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, that's right. That's good.
Keep it up. It's a good thing to do. And I think everybody should do that. Absolutely.
Well, you're your biggest fan. You should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the way to self-motivation is something real. It's just like being motivated about anything, but motivated for yourself to succeed is really important. I get so distracted. I'm got a lot going on with our program right now, and it's hard for me to be proud of all that because I still see what I want it to be, and if I looked at myself 6-7 years ago when we were really just starting the team with our SV 650 endurance racing, and saw what I have now, I would say it's not even possible. You know what I mean? And that there's no way that's ever going to happen, that I could ever do it. I have 4 completely built race bikes, for me, 2 endurance bikes, a couple leader bikes, that awesome bikes. And it's like, I used to like not have half of one, I had something that was half, and I was like, man, And if I knew that after 6 years of, continuously doing it and grinding and sticking to the dream and the focus that I'd be here, I might even worked harder at the beginning. But, you can only, perspective is everything, and you can only do as much as you can. So it's been an awesome time, and like I'm so excited that it is working, and like believing in myself and believing in the future of the sport and my shop and the team and riders in specific, that it's really cool to just keep getting to do it, and really thankful that I get to do it.
Yeah, listen, absolutely. If you'd have told me 2 years ago, and I've said this many times, I'd be podcasting, I'd be like, bullshit, right? I like listening to them, but there's no way I'm doing it. And if I do, there's no way people want to listen to me or even gonna like what I have to say, right? Why would anybody want to do that? But hey, I was the first guest on Pin the Gas podcast, and now look where I am, right? It's I'm interviewing people all over the world, and it's just absolutely, it blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind, and it's an absolute honor. I just yeah, same thing.
Yeah, there's
man.
there's people that want to be podcasted by you. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Like they want to be on your show.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I know, man.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, dude, it's an absolute honor. That's what I'm saying, man. Who knows, dude? You never know what the future is going to hold. You just got to stay in between the chapter, stay focused, and keep believing in yourself, right? And also with that, it's I have a good support group within my household. My wife and my son and my mom and my dad, they absolutely are proud of me, and they tell me all the time. My boss supports me, and everybody else too. But that little main group of people, my everyday lives, it absolutely helps me out a lot. So there's a lot going, saying that, good support system. It's just like a rider, right? If let's say Ryen Snooks, you're in World Superbike and you just don't get along with the team behind closed doors, nobody's going to see that, right? So your performance on the track's not going to be your best, right? Because you got all this pressure and all this blah, 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 versus like Jay Gagne. It's hard to beat Gagne because him and his team are like the best well-oiled machine right now in Moto America, right? They're just, he might not be the fastest every time on track, but he wins most of the time because they just do everything. The communication, the love, the support, it's there's a lot to be said with that.
Yeah, you most of the time too, you see that they're happy in the pit.
Having
a
fun.
bunch of guys that are like, yeah, let's go, and you see the excitement in the teams that are doing the best. Typically, there's teams that obviously still perform well that are normally angry or whatever, and it's not anybody in particular, but the ones that are having a good time typically do the best. And that's
100%.
they 100%. For sure kind of living it up.
I like the haircut, man. What, you got a good mullet going on?
Dude, look at this.
Dude, look at that. I love
it's super
it.
long right now. I thought I was getting it cut yesterday, but it didn't work out. So.
I love it, man. Dude, I can't wait to see you again in Atlanta, dude. We're gonna have so much fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be good times. I'm
actually for the Moto America round.
Yeah, I'm gonna be working with Ryan Wolf that weekend and in Jersey.
Right on, cool.
So, yeah, but I'm gonna be running around after I'm done with my duties, being my lunatic self, doing live podcasts. I'm gonna grab you and be like, dude, we got to go do a podcast real quick. Come on, let's go on Facebook cool. Live real quick. Let's do it. Logan, let's go, baby. Come on, let's do it. Right. So speaking of that, man, how did you and Logan come together?
Oh, it's actually kind of a cool story. And it'll only take a moment.
I love it. It'll only take just a little bit.
I'm a big pusher that we're going to that the smaller bikes, obviously the 300s and stuff, but training on a smaller machine is just as efficient as training on a bigger machine. It might take more laps. But it's throttle is a throttle, brakes are brakes. The foot brakes typically down on the right. The hand brakes are ones on the right. So they're the same thing. So we have like TTR 125s that are set up with dirt tires. We have some that are set up with supermotos and very inexpensive bikes that are great for training. And there's a lot over here in the Marine Corps base used just for motorcycle training. So they do like the basic rider course and the advanced rider course up there every week. But on the weekends, we are allowed to use the lot to go do some training. So this is years ago, probably like 5, 6 years ago. Me and a couple of the guys, and I think my wife, were up there and doing some training. And little Logan shows up, and his dad's master gunnery sergeant in the Marine Corps at the time. So these two show up and they start unloading, and they're like, so what's going on here? And I was like, I don't know, what are you guys doing? Like, my boy's just got to train. He's a little getting into road racing, and he was 9 at the time, so he's 15 now. He was 9 at the time and riding like a CRF 50 or something like that, like a little tiny bike, and gets out there and starts ripping with us. And then his dad got him the Ovale rather recently around that time, I think the 160 or something. So then he comes to the track and he's like beating up on us on Saturdays and stuff. We shared numbers, and he started coming to the shop and paid me to do a little bit of work. But the next year, whenever they were getting into the mini cup with Moto America, I told them that I'd be there, and if they needed any help, to holler at me. Well, that went from a little bit of help to basically full time in their pit. And the little Ovale bikes are awesome training tools, but they're not super reliable. So we've done transmissions and top ends, and with our K-Tech suspension program, we were able to get the K-Tech in this bike. And so now, you fast forward 6 years, they take me around as their full-time mechanic to all the Junior Cup stuff. So it started with us meeting up at the same training grounds. Ironically, on the Marine Corps base, it's probably like the safest area you can go. There's no police interaction or anything because it's a motorcycle training lot. And it was funny that, we both met up there, and maybe once we met up, and then there's the second time that we were like, all right, you do this all the time? Are you serious about this? And obviously we were both rather serious about it being 100 degrees, and we're out in the parking lot riding in circles doing figure eights and stuff. And they're like, all right, well, we should train together. And Logan's super talented. So anytime he, rides with me, he's always pushing me to do better, which is really cool. And that's kind of where I fell in love with working with the kids, because they're some of them got a great talent, they just don't know it, or some of them are riding above their ability, and it's kind of cool to bring them back and then bring them back forward, and work with them, getting their mental game in place, or kind of getting them away from their dad for a little bit and just having fun, and then getting them back to the pit, and they're a little bit more driven, just taking them out of the pit, and at least they let me hang out and like ride a scooter around with them or whatever and just goof around, which is really cool because I'm just a big kid anyways. I like to go be mischievous,
Me too. Yeah, absolutely.
Sneaking around at night or whatever.
Yeah, right. Shh, keep it down. They're gonna hear us. Get the bike, bro. Yeah. Yeah, it's
they're always up to something, dude.
It's yeah, man, it is. I love the up and coming kids, man. I love the passion, right? To me, the Junior Cup is like the best in Moto America as far as when they win, it's so passionate. When they lose, man, they're crying their eyes. It's so much passion that goes behind. I mean, seriously, right? That's the passion, and that's what well,
most of them are friends,
I know they are. Yeah, absolutely.
And, they got like this whole friend group. So like instilling into a few of them has like really helped. That how do I say it? If one of them succeeds and they're friends, they're like, oh, I can do that, and then they want to beat each other. And that's like one of Logan's things is he's not really a fan of anybody. He's really he's his own fan. He thinks he's great enough to do it, and it's so awesome that he's like not intimidated by anybody. And he's one of the smallest guys, he's 100 pounder, 120 pounder. And, but he's the little beast, little dog in him, and he's like, no, gets behind the bars. Like, I'm ready to go. And, then afterwards they're all scootering around and slapping hands and having fun, and that's the best thing. It's like the best class to be able to watch or whatever.
It is, dude. It's I've had a lot of people on the podcast, and I asked the question, are you friends with anybody in the paddock? And a lot of them are like, I mean, we're acquaintances, but we don't hang out outside the track because I want to beat everybody, right? And then I mean, listen, that's just the racer mentality, right? From a lot of the true like Matt Mladen, he's one of the perfect examples. He'd come to America from Australia. He's like, I don't want to be your friend. I just want to fucking murder you on the track, win these championships, and go home. That's it. That's all I want to do,
Yeah.
Which, yeah, it's great, but I love to see that. You're right. I love to see the camaraderie in the junior cup class, all the kids laughing, playing around. When it's time to get serious, yeah, they scatter like cockroaches. They go to everybody's little pit, and they throw on their leathers and get on the bikes, and it's business, right? But as soon as they come back, they mingle. Hey, man, how did you feel in this turn? Oh, man, I'm using this, and yeah, I feel this there. And they share information. It's great because they feed off each other.
Yeah, well, it's back to that thing that I was saying, like, American riders can only get faster, so they should be pushing each other and say, like, there shouldn't be any animosity fighting for fifth place because they ain't setting a lap record in fifth place. You know what I mean? They should be saying, like, well, how did you get through there like that? Like, I beat you everywhere, but I can't get through turn 5 like that. And he says, well, I ride right outside the dot. What dot? And then they're like, oh, and then that kid all of a sudden's a half a second faster the next race.
Yeah.
He figures out the one corner, and they should work together because I believe there's obviously great talent here in America, but when we go overseas, we struggle. So I'd love to see us go overseas and kick some butt. That's all that I mean by that. I want to see us, parading the American flag around all these European racetracks again. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Me too, man. Me too. It's just it's different, man. Like, the Europeans, their training is different than the way we train. They grow up on the stiff chassis motorcycles like GP chassis. So when they transition to Moto 3 or the Meraki or whatever it is that have those stiff chassis, dude, they're absolutely fast, right? And we grow up on production bikes where chassis are soft, right? And they got a lot of flex into them, so you get used to the certain feel, right? So it's predictable. I know if the bike's doing this and I'm feeling this way, I know the front's getting ready to go, right? But you take that same riding style and same sensations to a super stiff chassis, it's completely different. Your riding style is not, the bike feels completely different. It's not giving you the same sensations on how you normally ride on a production bike, right? It's a harder transition. But man, I would love to see. We need Americans over there. I mean, we got Gerloff and
anywhere.
Everywhere, dude. We need them in BSB. We need them in ASBK everywhere. Absolutely. The TT. Dude. It seems like after Nikki Hayden really come out of here, we really hadn't had a whole lot of Americans go anywhere outside of Moto America. We have Joe Roberts. We got Garrett Gerloff, like I just said.
And the one that stuck out for me was Brandon Posh. He won the Moto 3 BSB, and that was really cool for an American to win a series overseas. And
absolutely,
I think he's definitely he's had a little rough couple of years, but I think he's got the talent to do something like that. And I watched Tyler Scott. Always been a big fan of Tyler Scott as well. He had that finger issue, when he did the Red Bull Rookie Cup stuff, messing up his finger a couple times in a row. That really kind of was a bummer for him. But obviously, like, these two's talent is premier, and they're able to get in any class. They're riding up at the front. It'd be cool to see them evolve into, well, obviously where they're at. They're both on the same team now in different category, but they're picked up by one of the best teams there is. So I'm really proud of them for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that was Brandon stuff was like the last big one. I think Gerloff's figuring it out, and he came one of the last Moto America races when he was walking around. We got to meet him, and his attitude's so good this year. He's relaxed, and it seems like his head's in the right spot. So I think it's where he'll start. He's got to get a couple of those big finishes, top finishes in a row to have that
confidence.
All right, now I have to finish on the podium now. Fifth isn't okay. And it's like Dale Quarterly said that to me. He said, you got to finish fifth before you can finish fourth, dude. I was in the twins class. I was struggling with my finishes, and I did pretty good. I had multiple 10th place and 8th place finishes, and I got to sixth, and then I was like, oh man, I want to win. And he's like, dude, you can't win yet. You got to finish fifth. You got to get into the top five before you can say you're going to go beat the fastest one, because there's a big difference between the winner and fifth place. It's 0.2 of a second every lap, but after 15 laps, it's like 5 seconds. So it's like that's a big difference. And he's like, you gotta keep working it up. And Dale brought in that next part of our training that we implement now. It is that tougher mentality, and that we're gonna, you might come off the track and we tell you suck, and it's because you're out there riding like a wussy or whatever, and not a wussy like you're scared, but like you're more capable than this. So what are you doing? You're wasting all of our time. Let's get this show on the road. And I would never talk to one of the racers like that, but it's essentially the memo that has to get across is like, you need to go push. You need, you're not going to get any better at being comfortable out there and just being hunky dory riding around. You can go finish 5th to 8th to 10th whenever you want. The only way you're going to win is that bike is going to feel a little unstable. It's going to be bouncing around. You're going to hit the dirt. You're going to, you're going to ride to the edge of the track, and it might wheelie in places that you're like, bikes don't wheelie here. You might get a little stuck on a front tire going into a corner or something.
Top rack.
Yeah, a little
top rack.
A little moment there. These things might happen, but it's like if I tell you you can do it and give you that confidence, I want to see you go do it, because you can. And it was at that moment that I was like, fuck, dude, I can do this. And especially hearing it from the last privateer superbike team racer, Dale Quarterly, the last privateer superbike rider to win the championship, 1987. It's very cool. And, he gave us motivation, and now we take that. And so, we're all about building each other up, but at the same time, like, being that big brother in the sport of saying like, all right, we got to try a little bit harder. And that's where the data comes in. Like, you're not even full pinned here, dude. Like, we need to be pinned through the kink or whatever it is. And it's scary. Well, we got the sport's scary. There's things that are
close your eyes and just pin the gas. Yeah, you'll make it work. Pin the gas.
So right. There is that toughness about it. It's not all fun, but that's what's important about the kids. Like, it shouldn't be work for them. It should be fun. But at the same time, when we're spending $60,000 to $100,000 a year for them to compete, they need to be putting in the work. And like you said, there's some guys that they treat it like work. They show up, put the helmet on, they do their job, they come back, maybe they give a couple people fist bumps, and they jet out, And they are some of the most driven, successful ones, but the ones that are really getting the job done are the ones that kind of have a little enjoyment behind it, I feel like. Like Nikki, Nikki was the first American to start winning, doing really well, that was like really happy and really, enjoying the sport and approachable behind the scenes, and just a real genuine character in all of the realm. And it's we need another racer that's capable of doing that. And I think Brandon is, and Tyler, and I think Rocco is. He's growing up. He's I can't imagine being where, how successful Rocco was at 14, 15 years old, 16 years old. I can't even imagine that amount of stress and pressure and people punching at you when you're double champion and winning everything, and not even just winning. I mean, by like 10, 15 seconds in some of the races, you know what I mean? destroying the competition.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. He's an absolute legend too. But speaking on posture again, real quick, man, going back to his BSB time, there's been a lot of riders. Yep, there you go, BP baby. He when he won that championship, I was like, dude, absolute fucking legend, dude, right? But then you see people like Tito Rabat, he went to BSB. He only survived 3 rounds. He's like, man, fuck this. I'm out. Right. Like, how you guys are nuts, So for an American to go over there and win at BSB levels, absolutely amazing. I don't see why. I wish he was still over there, to be honest with you. His team manager, Shaky Byrne.
Yeah. What an awesome dude.
Oh man, yeah, Shaky. I met him at Cadwell Park. Absolute legend, dude. Absolutely legend. Jamie Whitman, but we're not here to talk about my trip to BSB. But yes, we need yeah, we do 110%. But Ryan, dude, listen, how did you get into motorcycle mechanics? Because I'm a motorcycle mechanic. I went to MMI back in 98, 99. I was there at the last time AMA raced at Phoenix International Raceway. That's when I met the ghost Anthony Gobert, right? Still got the sign poster hanging on my wall, Ben Bostrom. There were Vincent Hines body. Eric was on the Honda RC45. Yeah, man, it was absolute. But that's what started. So I grew up actually riding motorcycles, but I was always pretty much mechanically inclined, right? One of my buddies growing up, he had a dirt bike. He would show me how to clean the carb, and like I picked it up like it was nothing. I was like, dude, this is awesome. And
just a few screws, man.
Yeah, just a couple screws, right? And then he showed me how to change, pistons and rings. And I just got into it. And then after high school, I was like, man, I want to go to MMI. But then I got in the industry, and it almost ruined my love for motorcycles working at a shop doing flat rate work.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's so hard, especially being such a fan of crotch rockets. They're like, oh, you got to go work on this going. Yeah, and then it's like you're okay, it takes 6 hours to do it. You're 12, 15 hours deep in this shit project bike that it takes you 30 hours just to take all the goddamn plastics off.
And then you finish and you're like, where did this fastener go? And exactly where right where it went. It was right behind that lower cover or whatever, all the way tucked up in there. And you're like, dude, this gold wing, there's no way I can get this thing out of here without putting this bolt in. I have to take it back apart. Those ones are scary. And I didn't have a great time working in a dealer. When I was in the Marine Corps, I found this shop I got into a motorcycle club when I was riding that CBR run on a street called the Notorious Suspects, and they a bunch of sport bike hooligans, wheelies, stretch bikes, the gang. And
I know the gang.
We all needed our bikes worked on, so the old man of the group was definitely smart enough to get us going and helped us out with all the little stuff. But then he's like, man, I need a space, because we were all going to his house and going to his garage, and he wasn't really that type of guy that was like he's cool with you coming over, but like 15 people in his garage, he's like not really cool with that. Yeah. So he was like, man, I need a space. So we rented this little shop just around the building, around the corner from him, and it was right when I was getting out. So I got home from my second deployment, and he was like right then was opening up this place, and I was getting out of the Marine Corps at the same time, and I rushed out as fast as I could and went and started like interning with him. And I had enough money saved up when I got out of the Marine Corps that I was able to like coast for a couple of months. And then I ran out and I didn't know what to do. And so I was working with him for like, 6 months or so. And I was like, well, I don't know what to do. But I got my brain together and used the GI Bill and went to MMI in Phoenix. So
me too.
It was the best decision I made to get out of the normal for a little while and go to school. And I did terrible in high school, so I was like really worried about going to school. And but when it was about motorcycles and it was figuring out all these problems I had in my life, like because we grew up not super, we didn't have any money growing up, and I didn't have any money as a junior Marine, so I fixed everything myself. Oil change or tires leaking or chains messed up or whatever. I just figure it out, a YouTube bit or whatever. And when I was at school, you're sitting in class and you're like, oh, I remember that problem. And there's so many instances, especially doing the interning for 6 months with Vic, that I was like, this solved that problem. Oh, this solved that problem. And I don't know why my brain worked like that, but it became very interesting to me, especially the electrical stuff. So I was able to really excel in that. Um, Once I graduated school, Vic offered me a job back here in North Carolina at his shop. It's called Lean Ankle Performance, and it's basically all sport bike stuff. I we were here for 6 months. His wife was Navy, and she got orders to Texas with like some follow-on California orders or something, and they weren't going to be sticking around. So he sold me enough tool to get the shop going, and I basically just kicked it off. After, 6 months out of school, I didn't know nothing, and I
Yeah.
mean, I still, in the realm of what's capable of being known, I don't know nothing still.
Right. Me
Um,
too. I could change a chain. Yeah. Yeah. I put on a new chain. Yeah. I'm good with that. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't feel like very confident, but me and a couple buddies we stuck together out through it, and um, uh, I wouldn't have wouldn't turn back. It was all just kind of going with the flow and feeling out the situation of everything that made it even possible, um, and luck. I mean, having a great family. When my godmother helped co-sign on the initial $20,000 loan or whatever to buy all the tooling and stuff. And because I wasn't really in any shape, I'd moved across the country twice now at this point, Phoenix to North Carolina. I was flat broke, didn't have much to me, but I knew how to change tires, oils, and brakes, and I knew that if I could do just that, I would make enough money to survive. And eventually now, so May will be 7 years that we've been here, same building. Um, we've we've had a ton of success on the racetrack, and like I said, we do it all now. So we do our own engines. I've gone through the K-Tech school twice, so we're fluent on all of their suspension. We have all of their tooling here, their shock pump, their shock extension tools, spring removal tools, everything to do the Olin's equipment as well. So um, that part has blown up. Now we have people shipping us suspension. We have, engine parts coming in the mail for us to refit or to fix up or make racy or whatever. And then we're selling a ton of stuff online where we've expanded to, we have an entire apparel line on our website. It's not super popular yet, but it's just motorcycle apparel, and it's all geared towards road race. So it's pictures of, it's a road race wheelie, it's dragon knee, it's riding in the rains, all sorts of stuff. You can search what bike you have, Yamaha R1 or whatever, and it'll show you all the riders riding an R1. So it's that's cool, and I think it'll take off one day, at least for the track community. Maybe not something that'll make money, but it'll, I just want to get everyone to have some motorcycle apparel. We have, like, you have the Alpine Star shirt. It's like you order a suit, you get the T-shirt or whatever, and it's like, well, that's um, kind of it. That's like all that there is in motorcycling. So like we started this apparel stuff to, like, you ever told someone that you race motorcycles and they're like, oh, what kind of dirt bike do you have? And you're like, oh, no, it's not like that. And then you tell them like road race, like, yeah, we do lefts and rights, and
Yeah.
we wear the leathers and drag knees, and they're still just so confused. But if you have, a picture of a road racer or something like that, it's much easier to explain. So that's kind of like the idea behind the apparel and stuff. So the shop, the apparel, and then we've opened up this other store now that's just used motorcycles, retail apparel, and gear. That grand opening was yesterday, so it's just kicking that off. So we have 2 locations here in town, and we are hiring. If anyone is interested in the motorcycle market, trying to get the possibilities are endless with with these positions because of how involved we are. We have 100 different companies that we deal with, and we race Moto America, we race endurance, we race all these different categories. We need people that are interested in doing that kind of stuff as well, whether they're racing or they're helping the team or whatever. I mean, like this weekend, going to the Daytona 200. It's all hands. We're basically closing both stores. We're gonna have one store open, but we're basically have to close, because we're taking everybody, and everybody's got to come work, because it's such a big event. We have 10 people on the team, which is incredible to have that many people. One, go to Daytona, but two, that's how big this team has become in just a few years. Where we got a guy coming from Kentucky, from Michigan, from New York, from a couple guys in Florida. There's one coming from Georgia, and like we're all going to meet up and do this program, and it's really cool that like the shops provided that for us.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely it is. Dude, Billy Pedro is in the house. What is up, Billy?
Hey.
He says the teamwork shirt is pretty cool.
See, yeah, we got the teamwork makes the dream work is one of the shirts on the website, and it's got the three of us from our last endurance race, actually at Daytona, when we won the race with Dustin Apgar, which was very cool.
Oh yeah, that's absolute. Dustin's an absolute legend too.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute legend, man. Yeah,
I met him. So I met him when I was out in Phoenix. Him and Sean and Varsky were kind of hitting it off at the same time, and James Romero was racing out in CVMA, and yeah, meeting Dustin was a huge eye opener to like what's possible out of such a small space. He just had a little 2,000 square foot shop, but it was maybe a little bit bigger than that, maybe a little bit smaller, right around there. But he was getting so much done out of there. He was the Pirelli tire distributor, so he had 1,000 Pirellis in there. He had newest R1, R6 race bikes. He had, and I was like, how did you do all this? And he was like, well, I went to MMI and I'm still doing it. And I was like, I don't know how to do this. But he was so, excuse my language, but he was fucking hardcore.
Oh,
you know what I mean? He was a hardcore.
You cuss? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
He was a hardcore dude. And like, so I was like, all right. And I took that hardcore drive. And especially with the road race stuff, like I said, there isn't really any slack on the track. You gotta, it's all in or nothing, especially with the pro stuff. You really got to be focused and put it all in, put your stuff on the table and work it out. And he was a great example of that. Just work hard and then play hard.
Play hard, work hard. Absolutely. Dude, listen, I miss Phoenix. I had the best time in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, cool. I loved it.
Absolutely.
We climbed all the mountains around it and
Camelback and all that. Yeah. It was great, man. It was a great time. Completely different than North Carolina or Virginia, right? I remember the first couple days it happened a lot, but I remember going through a drive-through. I was like, what the fuck is Carl's Jr., right? I'm gonna go see what Carl's Jr. is. And I pull up there and I make my order, and all I hear is this laughter. And I was like, what's going on here? And I pull up, and these girls are like, where are you from? I said, I'm from Roanoke, Virginia. And they're like, we ain't never heard an accent like that before, right? And I had a really good time with my accent out there. I tell you that. I had a lot of fun. But Phoenix was really cool, man. I learned a lot. The people, it's just different, man. There's so much going on in Phoenix,
Yeah.
But
that's a city that never sleeps.
It don't. It absolutely.
That's a real city that doesn't sleep, man. I've been to New York at 3 a.m. in the morning. It is not like Phoenix. Phoenix at 3 a.m. in the morning is popping. There's people everywhere.
Straight popping.
Crackheads running around everywhere.
Crackheads like a motherfucker running around. You're like, God damn. Holy shit. Yeah, absolutely. Man, they had really good food though. I did enjoy all the food out there.
I can miss me some In-N-Out, man.
Damn,
kind of having withdrawals lately.
I know.
Go for that.
In-N-Out. Well, that's all right because I'll be in Texas in April for the MotoGP race. So I'll get my little In-N-Out fix.
Oh, man.
My nice. Once a year In-N-Out fast food. So
we were talking about it. We have a racer. I'll just spill the beans. Little Logan, potentially, if he isn't slacking this year and is doing good on Aprilia, we're going to go to COTA for maybe the Twins Cup race. If he's doing good and he kicked my butt at Jennings, I'll be honest. So I mean, if he's still, if he's beating me still all year on the Aprilia, we'll sign him up for one of the big races here at the end of the year, and at least get him out there. Though I think the COTA one just lines up with like timeline or something like that. That's why his dad was talking about it. But I can't wait for him to get out there on a big class. We're really hoping that this year with the Junior Cup stuff, it all works out. We got brand new engines for the bikes. I mean, new bikes really for his program. So I'm really rooting for him this year. Like I said, if he's listening, he's got to work hard. I know, like I told him, I used Max Van as an example last year. I said, you look at that kid. He's an adult. He's a big boy that he's going to be beating you up on the racetrack. That's somebody that, look at somebody like that every weekend and say, I'm going to show up and beat that guy. You know what I mean? Or pick somebody that's a winner and say, I'm going to show up and I'm going to beat that guy.
Consistently.
Yeah.
And
and then show up and do your work. And
my advice for Logan, if you listen to this, dude, Max does like 750 push-ups a day. So, hey, you better get on it, buddy. That's all I'm saying. You better.
Man.
You better start now. Yes, dude. Listen, I'm proud. It was an absolute honor to meet him and his dad. I met his dad there in Jersey too, as well.
Yeah, another hardworking candidate. They do it all on their own. I pop in every couple of weeks and do something, but they got their own tire changer machine. We got the Rabaconda. Shout out to them for hooking us up with that machine.
Nice.
But we just got it's really cool. It no air pressure or nothing. You just do it all with some hand tools, and it's very easy to use if you know how to use a tire machine at all. It took us 30 seconds to figure it out, but we we do our own tires, we do our own balancing. I do all the suspension. They're capable of doing the basic, need to change a chain, clutch, need to change a tire or whatever. They can do that. So, they're hardcore on as far as doing it all on their own. And then they stay in that RV 24/7. I mean, they live in their rig, which is why it's so big. But I mean, like if you could imagine packing up all your shit and putting it into a garage and toting it around with you, how much stuff you would have,
It'd be a lot. Well, it'd be like us going on vacation with our wives, right? We got a backpack and maybe a little carry-on bag, and they got 14 suitcases and all that. You're like, what? Wait, man, we're only gone for like 7 days. We're not moving in.
Suitcase per baby. I got 3 kids, man. I got 3 suitcases, and then she'll always have 2. One's just makeup, and then the other one.
The other one's got all my combs and my blow dryers and all that, and the other one's got trust me.
No, she would not. No, that is hers.
Never, never. They would never do that, right? Right. It's just like us when I come home. She's like, "How many freaking helmets do you need? You only got one head." And I'm like, "Well, how many purses do you need? You only got, so much you can carry in a purse." This
argument is over.
Straight. I'm just like, you know what? I love you, babe. I accept you for you. You accept me for me. And hey, I can change. You change your purse every day of the week. I can change my helmet every day of the week.
Yeah, that's right.
No bit. Look, Amy Jo says no. It's hilarious. It's good stuff. Hi, Amy. It's awesome. But yeah, dude, listen, Junior Cup class to me last year was an absolute banger. It was the best series in Moto America to me. I'm really looking.
There were 7 to 10 riders every race that was potentially could win.
Yes. And
big shout out to Eli Block.
Dude,
pulling up the double win in the rain.
That was my huge man right here with the leather suit hanging up in the background. That's it. Big shout out to Eli. Eli actually he co-hosts with me sometimes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which is cool, man. It's cool to have
personality.
Oh, dude, he's his dad too, man. Absolutely. Yep. As soon as me and his dad met, we were just like magnets. Bam! It was absolute. It's but I can't wait. 2024 Moto America in general is everything. Amy Jo says it's another bag of everything you forget.
That's why my backpack's so small, because I forget so much.
Yeah, right. That facts. But yeah, man, it's 2024 Moto America is just absolutely the rider lineup from the Superbike all the way down to Junior Cups. Just I think it's one of our best stat classes in 2024 we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, well, let's talk about we got one last thing. We got the bagger situation. That's what I call it. We started that when we were with BartCon. That's because the baggers kind of disrupted everything in 21. But what do you think about that? Do you think that MotoGP inviting them out is kind of like a test fire at this world organization picking up baggers, or how big do you think this is going to go?
Man, me personally, I got a lot of friends in BSB too as well, and I've heard that they plan on getting the baggers over there too, right? And with them saying that, and then turn around and watching MotoGP come out saying just the baggers is going to come makes me think, yeah, something's
It's
definitely
a test run for sure.
Absolutely, 110% right now.
We
Whether
won't
they're going
bring you to our country, but you can try it in your country. And if you ruin the racetrack, you ruin the racetrack. It's not
right. At least it's not over here. We ain't got to repave it. Right. That's your guys' problem. And we know not to come back next year. Right after that. Yeah, we're good.
Oh, fuck, man. A lot's resting on these bagger situations. So
it is.
I hope it works out. I mean, it's really cool. It's, Harley obviously being an American manufacturer and kind of like being the backbone of the organization is cool. And to see our fan base, I think they said 70% more viewers last year. Moto America sent out it was like an insane amount more people. 70% more people watched last year compared to the year before, and they've had over 50% growth every year since starting. I know that a big part of that is a testament to the bagger stuff. You know what I mean?
110%. Dude, it is, because
you
Chris Tulloch is in the house.
Oh,
what is up, Chris?
Most popular guy in the paddock, isn't he?
Dude, Chris Tulloch is
knows everybody.
Dude, he's a legend. Absolute TOBC, back in the house in Daytona. It's dude. But yes, back on the baggers real quick. Listen to me. Okay, me and you growing up riding on the street, you see a Harley, they're just like, crotch rockets again, right? You guys give motorcycles a bad name, which I can kind of agree to that with us out there riding wheelies, doing 190 miles an hour everywhere. Yeah, of course, right? But to me, when the bagger series came, it just brought a whole nother people that's never been in a road race. So they show up, they're big Harley or Indian fans, and they might not be a crotch rocket fan at the time, but then they meet the riders and they meet the races and they see the the sports bikes on the track, and they're like, dude, this is absolutely amazing, right? So now we got all these older generations of people coming into the sport that might not have ever watched road racing because they probably don't give a shit. They go to bike week just to hang out with their buddies and drink beer or whatever, right? But they brought so many more people to the paddock from everywhere in the whole United States. And I think that's a big reason that it's also helped it grow. I think that it helped Moto America in a huge way. I think we are to where we are because of the bagger class for sure.
Yeah.
100%. So
yeah,
it's like, go ahead, Ryan.
Well, hopefully it, like you said, if it gets different diverse families into the event, you get more kids into it, and they'll be more apt to say, yeah, you can get that little dirt bike, you can get that little whatever, because like maybe they'll just think, well, you never know what's going to happen now, baggers are flying around Daytona, so I mean you never know what's going to happen next. So I mean, we really, if a kid's interested in it, I mean, just let them do it, and I hope that's what this, if anything, that's what this series brings to the public, is that it's possible.
Absolutely. So my motto is to, when we was at VIR, please bring VIR back. But from my understanding, the owner of VIR don't like motorcycles. That's what I hear. That's the issue. But it's again.
I heard she's it's a lady. I heard she's really nice though. And if she
too.
ever wants to talk about bringing motorcycles back, I'd love to explain why it's so important to us here.
I would love to get on the podcast. I would love to get the owner of VIR.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I mean, how cool that would be, right? Yeah. Absolutely, that would be cool.
Just want to know why. We just want to know why. What did I do? I'm sorry. I won't ride on the grass anymore.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'll mow it. We'll show up and mow the lawn. It's not a problem. I got you, right?
Whatever you want, miss.
Yeah, right. Whatever you want. I got you. But so the beggar class is like something I still do, right? So when I went to VIR, when it was there, it was cheap for me to go, but I would always bring somebody that's never been. Hey man, you ever been to a real motorcycle race? Nope, never seen it on TV. Well, guess what? What you doing this week? I ain't doing none. Bring your kids too. I'll pay for y'all's ticket. No problem, right? Let's just go. And I introduce new people to the sport. I bring them out there to VR, let them see it, right? And then there's been a couple times where, they turn around and buy their little kids a dirt bike because their kids are like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever, right? And their parents are like, yeah, this is cool, and it's just a way for me to help the sport grow and as much as I could at the time anyway. But yeah, you're right, man. It is. Chris Tulloch says Snooks for the W next Saturday. Absolutely,
yeah,
brother.
let's go.
Yes, let's go. And then he says, I'm not in the paddock anymore.
Oh,
boo.
Wish he was.
Yeah, you're always in the paddock, Chris. What are you talking
He can
about? You're
still
such
come and hang out at least for a day.
yes, dude.
He
Listen,
knows enough people. You could just talk all day to each people.
bro. He's there spiritually.
You won't have to work.
Anyway.
Yeah, you won't have to work, so you can talk.
Right? Yeah, you can actually spend some time with people. The first time I met Tulloch was we was in Texas, and I met him and freaking brain Diane. I was gonna say I just had a major brain fart.
Oh yeah.
It was yeah, absolutely awesome. And I met his son too. His son was there, so it was good times. But Joe, what is up, Joe? He says, Chris, another great dude on your show. What up, Ryan? Good luck next week.
What's up, Joe? Yeah, I love racing. We raced with Joe a bit in the twin series. Really cool guy before and after the race. That was really important to me. I think that was the most fun about the Twins Cup is so many of the guys were really cool before and after the race. There's a bunch of tough heads like Chris Parrish. You know, he's only cool after the race. You know what I'm saying? He's not cool before the race, but like obviously, you know, he peeped in on the show. He's a super cool cat, and like it's great to learn from someone like him with so much knowledge. You know, in that series.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, dude, I'm trying to get Chris on this podcast. Chris, hello.
Yeah, get in here, man.
Yeah, we need to get y'all. We'll have a really good time, I promise. But yeah, man, dude, listen, dude, we're an hour and 30 into this, and it seems like we've only been talking for like 15 minutes. That's what I love about podcasts. It just goes by so fast. But we will have a part 2 of this, so everybody stay tuned. I'm actually going to cut this here in a few because I got a lot of stuff I got to go.
It's already 5:30, man.
Yeah, dude, I got to go finish cooking dinner. I got to go down to my buddy's house and have Cora in the house. What is up, Cora?
What up, Cora?
Cora's awesome. Big supporter of Cora's for sure. You guys need to go follow her on Instagram and all that good stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
absolutely. Right now,
like a legend of what can be done.
Listen, dude, she is an absolute legend. Absolute legend. She says she's driving. Well, thank you for listening, Corey. You're a legend, as you already heard. But yeah, Ryan, listen, I want to do my personal questions before we in this podcast, as I do with everybody. Well, I just started doing it not too long ago, but yes, Billy Pedro, dude, we need to. You need to.
That'd be a good interview too, man.
Listen. It's in the works. Me and him's already did a video chat. We just need to.
Cool.
Billy, when I get off of here, as I finish cooking, I'm gonna give you a ring. If that's okay, give me a thumbs up because I'll call you as soon as I get done. But he says, good luck, Ryan, at Daytona. But Ryan, listen, dude, you're gonna murder it. Absolutely, dude. 2023 was a absolute mega year for you and Lit Logan. I'm proud of what you guys achieved. I'm proud of you as not only a friend, but as a person and what you've achieved. Since getting out of the military with the whole motorcycle thing, the racing, the workshop, everybody you met, it's an absolute honor. And I told you this before, but I want to get into these questions. So I don't have any particular order that I ask them in. So I'm just going to go Star Wars or Star Trek.
Never seen either.
Okay. All right. Books. I'm a big audiobook listener, not so much a reader, right? I just got done with Matthew McConaughey Greenlight, which was a fucking awesome book.
I hear he's a very interesting character.
Oh, dude, dude, the book, it's one of those books you're like, okay, just one more chapter, right?
Right.
And then the one I just got done listening to the other day is Guthensteiner, the one, the Haas F1 the guy that ran Haas, but now he's not with Haas.
Oh, yeah.
Anymore. Yeah. His was pretty cool, man. But the thing that I really didn't like about the book, the story's good, but it's like Monday, January 9th, 12:15 p.m., Abu Dhabi, blah, 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 blah. Good night. Saturday, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is like, that's how the whole book is, right? There's no like laughter, no emotion almost to it, right? So it's kind of, the story's good, but it's bland. But you, right? Enough about me with the books. Do you listen to audiobooks or read?
Not so much. I read a good bit of like the Jack Ryan books. They were like some military style books back in the day, but the last book I bought was John Hopkins' book, and I only
Dude.
read the leathered
Yep.
leathered, and I wrote the book I read before that was the Soft Sciences of Road Racing a Motorcycle with
Yep.
Keith Code.
Yep.
I was pretty into those books. The Twist of the Wrist in that book at the beginning of racing to understand the mindset of racing has a great chapter in there. But no, man, I don't have any extra time right now. Any extra moment I have is spent doing something motorcycle related
Dude, listen, I feel you,
or the
bro.
kids.
Yeah, dude, I'm
I don't give them
absolutely,
enough
dude.
attention, honestly. That luckily my boys are riding, so like if I'm around, they want to ride something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I got a good juggling act with podcasting and working full time and being a husband and a dad. I find that when I come home, I used to not be this way because I was so excited. I still am, but when I come home, I pretty much cut it all off. Right, like if I get a text, I'll text back, but I usually don't get on the phone and have conversations when I'm at home after work because I focus on them.
Yeah,
Um,
it's hard.
but dude, it is. It's such a full time job doing this. People don't realize what it takes to do this. I mean, it's absolutely a lot of work, a lot of hours, a lot of reaching out, a lot of phone calls, a lot of setting up, a lot of video chats, a lot of scheduling and rescheduling, and I'm gonna be late and all this stuff, blah 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 blah. So yeah, but listen, at the end of the day, it's worth it. But dude, going back to John Hopkins Leather, bro, I've read Michael Dunlop's, Ian Hutchison, dude. Any motorcycle racers that's got a book out, I have absolutely either read it or listened to it. Hands down, John Hopkins is the best book. I'm not taking nothing away from any other books because they are just as good. But what I loved about Hopper more than any of them, dude, he was honest. He's like, bro, I was smoking weed in the bathroom and then going riding a MotoGP bike. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you don't
Right.
hear none of those other guys. They might have been doing it. I don't know. Right. But if they did, they're not going to say it. And that's what I loved about Hopper's book. It was,
Yeah.
I'm all in. Like Nikki Hayden said, I'm all in. I have nothing to hide. I got a pill
Yeah.
addiction. I was an alcoholic. I smoked weed before I got on MotoGP, but I did this, right? And you're just thinking yourself, you're in the book. Again, it's another book that you're just like, one more chapter, one more chapter, one more chapter.
Right.
As far as your military, I'll tell you another really good book that I love is David Goggins. He's got 2
Oh
books
yeah.
out. Dude, absolute
Legend.
legend, bro. Absolute legend. Yes. So going with that music, right? I listen to all type of music, dude. I could listen to Morgan Wallen, Frank Sinatra, Young Dolph, Bob Marley, Janis Joplin, dude. Seriously, I'm all over the place, bro, when it comes to music. So what kind of music do you listen to?
Well, I don't have like a particular I pick every day. I've been getting more into like the country stuff down here, living in North Carolina for 10 years or whatever. But if I'm gonna like prep like for a race or something, I kind of listen to those smaller hardcore bands. I had in high school, it kind of was like the thing, and it's just stuck with me. Killswitch Engage was one of my favorite bands back in the day, and I can put that album on, End of the Heartache album on any day of the week, and just crush it and jam out whatever. Um, a lot of like those instrumental style musics. This other band's called Stone Jesus, and they're just boom 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 boom. Like guitars and something to we call it chopper building music. We put that stuff on and crank a bike out or whatever. So I'm definitely more like the rock and roll type. Um, I grew up in Detroit though, so Eminem was,
I was gonna say
the
8 Mile,
most,
baby.
the most
Yeah,
popular of my life for sure. And anytime that comes on, I can jam out to that too. So
me too. Absolutely,
rather open.
absolutely.
But I think you asked me about my movie at one point, and my favorite movie is Happy Gilmore.
Oh,
That's
dude,
what I think I've seen it like 4 million times, and on repeat. But
it's a
it's
legend.
definitely one of my classic favorites when I was a kid. We don't watch too much anymore, but the most recent one I watched was that Super Mario Bros. Movie. We actually went and saw it in 3D, which was pretty cool with the kids, and they loved it. Now they
Oh
watch it
yeah.
like every week on Netflix.
I'm big onto the whole Disney Plus and all the Pixar movies, dude. I'm still a little kid. I'm young in my mind, dude. Still, I love all that shit, dude. So my favorite movie is Top Gun because that's what my dad.
Oh
did.
yeah, classic.
Yeah, so that's I've seen that movie like 50 billion times, line for line. Yeah, it's absolutely. Chris Parrish, my man, he says, I'll send you a shirt and contact soon for a reservation. Almost done building my bike to display, but the full Moto 2 scheme I have in mind won't be done for a while. Absolutely looking forward to it, mate. Absolutely.
Very cool.
Very, very cool. And I'll rep your shirt on the podcast for sure. Like I do with all my friends' shirts. You'll see me wear Brendan Kelstein. I might have Levi Baddies on. I might have, Ryan Wolf's on. It's just another way for me saying thank you for coming on the show and also supporting you guys too as much as I can, right? It's good advertisement. For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you.
No, you're
I
very
got you on it. You're gonna be at Daytona, you said?
No, I'm not gonna be at Daytona.
Or Atlanta.
Listen, Atlanta. I'll be there in Atlanta for sure.
Yeah. All right, we'll try to make sure we have one for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I'll definitely rock it. So food. What kind of food are you into, Ryan?
Well, besides saving
Chef
calories
Eats.
and eating my Chef Eats meals every day, I'm definitely a chicken kind of guy. Anything chicken will go. But I love a good steak. I love a home cooked meal, but like I said, we're on the road so much. It's like kind of whatever, whatever flies. But I'll call it carb conscious. That doesn't mean that I I'm conscious of what I eat. It doesn't mean I regulate what I eat. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I do.
Beer and chicken wings has been the racer diet for like 6 years now. It's been working, so I don't know why it works, but it works.
You can't go wrong with beer and chicken wings, right? But me, I like hot and spicy food, right? So
yeah.
Thai food, Greek food.
Oh man,
Greek's not spicy, but I like the
best Thai food I've ever had is here. It's I don't remember what it's called. The old Siam. Oh, pad Thai, so good.
Oh, pad Thai. Oh, dude. So when I come down and see you and stay the weekend with you in the shop, we do live podcast. Absolutely, yes, absolutely. Joe says he just watched the new Dune. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it was really good. I have to check it out. I just got done watching Masters of the Air. Yeah, Dune.
Dune. I don't know what that is.
But Masters of the Air on Apple TV is absolutely fucking amazing. It's a great show. That and Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso is the shit too. So you guys should check that out. Celebrity crush. Ryan, who's your celebrity crush?
That's a good one. I don't know.
There's so many. Where should I start? Funny. Instagram models, OnlyFans models? Where should we start?
It's funny, dude. The first person that I thought of, like, I guess the last person that I was a fan of, and like I'm still a fan, but like I say hi to him every now and then, is Roger Hayden. Actually, I always wanted to get to know Raj because like growing up, he didn't have that Nikki Hayden personality where he was out. He's the worker. You know what I mean? He'd come do the work at the track and then he'd go do his thing. And so now I've met Raj and he does the commentating and stuff and like watching his career develop, the way that it has. And still a big fan of him and everything that family has done and accomplished. And that's the first person I thought of, honestly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No.
So I don't watch enough of the movies or TV stuff right now, to tell you which one,
Hey, I got celebrity crush on Roger too. So yeah,
I'm a big motorcycle racer fan. So all these guys that are successful, I'm still a fan, even though I'm a friend of some of them now, like Brandon and stuff, we've become friends, but I'm still rooting for them. You know what I mean?
Me too. Yeah, it's like, Ryan, I get asked the question all the time, who's my favorite, especially the Junior Cup kids. They're like, who's your favorite Junior Cup racer, right? And I'm like,
yeah.
Jules come out and said Jules said Levy was his favorite, right? And I'm just like, I'm friends with all of them. So you're all my favorite. Absolutely every single one of you. Only one can win and one could be first, second, and third. But even if you're in 15th, I'm still going to cheer for you as if you got first place, right? That's what friends do. You have that support system. So that's my answers. Everybody. I'm a fan of. I mean, just look at my room, right? I mean, I started to putting posters on my ceilings because I ran out of room on my wall, right? So, and you see my other living room. I'm lucky. My wife allows me to have 2 rooms full of motorcycle shit. So, yeah,
right.
If that don't tell you anything, it's yeah, absolutely. PlayStation or Xbox?
Oh, PlayStation. You ever play SOCOM? Back in the day, it was one of those shooter games. We used to, it's addicted to it. You'd sit there and eat a bag of pizza rolls and play some SOCOM back in the day. Getting fat and happy.
Yeah, I mean Call of Duty. I play like Rod 5, Rod 4 right now. FIFA. Yeah. I'm a big soccer nerd, so I like FIFA. I like what else am I playing? Assassin's Creed, because I'm a big Assassin's Creed nerd too. Games
I'm
like
trying
that.
I'm trying not to get my boys addicted to the games. They already beg for the phones enough. They're 4 and 6, and then we have a newborn. And but so I got them a Nintendo Switch this year. So we play Mario Kart. And I only got them the Mario games. We got Mario Kart and Super Smash Bros.
Yeah.
So they can beat the crap out of each other on the game and then race each other on the game, you know. We'll leave it at that. Hopefully they don't want to, you know, I don't mind like the video game stuff, but I don't want them to only do games. You know, I love them to be out in the out in the wild.
My son's got an Oculus, and when I got my PS5, I gave my PS4, but he plays my PS5 more than he does his PS4, and he's always playing Fortnite with his buddies, or he'll be on the Oculus. But yeah, I will go outside and shoot basketball, kick the soccer ball around, or get in the car and just go do something. Right? You're right. It's not good to sit in front of the TV all the time. And I listen. It's hard for me to. Well, it's hard
their generation, you know.
It is. But it's also hard
so much, and it wasn't even really a thing. But like,
no,
I was addicted.
Well, for me, you know, because I podcast, I'm constantly on social. Like I'm a slave to social media. I mean, let's just be honest, right? That's it. When you're in even motorcycle races to these days, it's like you have to have that, right? So you're constantly on it. So it's hard for me to tell Rossi, hey, you can only do this, and he's like, but Dad, you do this and you're this and you're always doing this and doing this. So it's kind of like it's a double-edged sword, right? So
yeah, for sure.
That's why I make it a point and be like, okay, I'll put my phone down. You put your shit down. We're going to go get in the car and go to the creek and swim in the creek or whatever. Right. And that's what we do, man. Yeah, absolutely. So, what advice would you give your younger self?
2 things, I guess. I wish someone would have told me it earlier in life, but breathe. You know what I mean? That simple word will save you out of a lot of trouble, a lot of situations. Just take a breath, close your eyes and breathe for 2 fucking seconds. You know, that'll check you, that'll check you out of a lot of trouble. And then, just wait, you know, patience. If I could, a little bit more patience in a lot of situations, I wouldn't have rushed so many things. And you know, if you allow yourself to have patience, you can see the signs. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Like you have to, if you rush it, you don't see everything, and you just have to wait. And that's true in riding. That's true in business. That's true in any of your, you know, bigger life decisions. Just breathe, think about it the second time, and then evaluate it. You know, sometimes that takes a day or a month or a year, and that doesn't matter. You know, like you have the time in reality. You know what I mean? Like you have a little bit of time to just breathe and think about the situation and the overall picture. And so that's really like if it's advice or like what I needed to hear when I was younger, and I heard it, you know, finally recently, and that the patience thing is constant, you know, constantly being reminded that stuff. It's no different than like you buy that expensive game or whatever, and the next week it's on sale. It's like, oh, you should have just waited, you know, because you end up rushing, you buy it, and then you're like, oh shit, I have to do this for the next 4 days, and then you didn't even play it or whatever, and then it's on sale, and you're like, bugger, like, come on, I could have saved the $50 anyways. I didn't even get to enjoy it or
Yeah,
whatever it is. That's just an example, but um, in riding, being patient allows you to um, think while you're on the brakes and then get on the gas at the correct moment. It's not, there is the person who's first to the gas typically is first one to full throttle, but the person who opens the gas at the correct time can get to full throttle sooner too. You know what I'm saying? That you can open the gas too
exactly.
soon. You can open the gas too soon. You can open the gas too late. So it's about that right timing thing, and a lot of it is patience and not jamming it right when you get to the right spot. And um, a great rider taught me about that this year of just like you just got to wait. Just wait a moment and then open it up, because I was just fucking basically running off the track every time I got on the gas. And they're like, dude, you got to wait just a hair, just wait a moment and then open it up. Then you can see or whatever. And so as far, like I said, as far it goes into riding, it goes into real life, it goes into everything.
110%, bro. Absolutely.
Breathe, breathe.
Breathe. Dude, so I'm big into the Wim Hof method. You heard of Wim Hof?
I'm not sure.
The Iceman. His method is he takes ice baths all the time, which I love ice bath, but he does the breathing too, right? Where what it is you go and you as deep as you can, but you don't let out as much air as you're taking in. So you're pushing all the alkaline out of your body and filling up with pure oxygen, right? And when you work out like that, like I got to the point, but before I tore my shoulder muscle doing, because I went from 260 pounds to like 202, and this is what I used. This is method. So I went from no working out at all to 200 push-ups a day for a month. So I did 4,000 push-ups in a month. Okay.
Yeah.
At 200 a day. And I tore my muscle right here. But what it is you deep breath 30 times, breathe deep, let out a little bit, do that for 30 times. You get the head rush, your body goes through all these kind of like feelings and stuff, right? And then you hold your breath and you do your push-ups, right? So you don't get tired or fatigued. Like, if you get down right now and you did push-ups, all of a sudden you're like, oh, where your muscles, all the oxygen's out of your muscle, right? It's all alkaline now, so it's real fatigued. I was never sore. Out of the 4,000 push-ups I did in a month, never got sore because of that whole breathe. But the breathing part to me is the most important, right? Because like what we talked about earlier, it calms your mind. You actually think better. You're not so clouded. You're once, just because I want it right now, when you sit down and think about it, when your mind's kind of clear, it hopefully will come into focus, right? That just helps me do that for sure.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So where do you see yourself in 5 years, bro?
Whew. Man, good question. I'd like I'd like to still be doing this, obviously, but I don't know if in 5 years I'll still be riding, you know? I thought that for the last 2 years, I thought it was the last year that I was going to do it. And then my friends and support group keep motivating me to do it. Well, what race you signing up for? And I'm like, and they're like, what? Like, what one is it? Because you're not done. Like, nobody's let me even consider being anywhere near done. So, as long as people want me to do it, I want to do it. I've been having a good time with it, and I'm only getting, for myself, better at my riding, and then I'm only getting smarter here in the shop. So, um, I want to keep doing it, and so in 5 years, I'm either going to be, I'll be competing in some fashion, or I'd like to just be the full-time like crew chief for our team and have something developed where we have, maybe a rider that pays and a rider that doesn't, and whatever. And we want to do that this year where we have extra motorcycles, so it's like we can prep this and get it ready for just about anybody, but it's so freaking expensive. You tell them a price and they run. So it's it's tough.
It is.
It's tough to, what's affordable, and like, I'm not going to do it for free for them, especially if they're asking for, a ride and you're not offering it to somebody. But I want the sport to grow and I want to see more young guys doing it. So it's kind of a catch-22.
It is.
So
Absolutely.
Our new store, we signed a lease for 3 years. So in 5 years, I'd like to see the shop that I'm in now and the new store combine into a bigger facility. We have a dyno, we have suspension services, we have a store that sells used motorcycles, and then our service center. So to have all that in one building, it has to be rather big. So hopefully in 5 years we can do that. That would be a big step for my business. And then my son is 6, so he'll be 11. And he'll be getting ready for whatever junior class we got going on if he wants to race. And 2 years behind him is my next son. So I mean, I can see myself in 5 years driving a lot, eating a lot of chef eats meals out of the RV, and
love it.
Hopefully I got a good crew working the shop and doing that stuff. Like I said, we're hiring, we're trying to get people that want to be around in 5 years and doing it. We want to grow the sport, and it's only up from here. I don't see us backing down any unless we're this last year, like, we struggled to make enough money. So we're increasing our labor rate this year to hopefully, help with the inflation or whatever and put us back to where we were. 'Cause we had enough to support the team. And now last year it's like, all right, it kind of sucked everything dry. So it's like trying to figure that out, make enough money and not spend too much money. And it's tough.
It's the juggling act for sure. Welcome to the sport, right? It's
yeah,
man, yeah.
So if I take a little weight off my shoulders and bring a couple new characters in, then hopefully I can still make money. They'll be making money. They're making a living, because I want, that's what I want. I want the sport to grow. I want people to want to do this stuff, and I want to pay them enough that they're like, I got a good job. You know what I mean? Not I'm in this dead end bullshit till I'm out of here or whatever.
Yeah,
I want them to feel like it's worth it.
Well, man, I wish I lived closer, because I'd be like, sign me up, baby. I'll come work for you. But unfortunately, I don't live that close. But we do.
Like a 3-hour drive every day.
Yeah, I can't drive 3 hours every day. It's 6 hours in my day, 7. Yeah, that's half the day. I sleep for like 4 hours. Yeah, you don't be a pussy. And come on, yeah, right? Just say it. Don't be a pussy. Let's go. Listen, who's the most famous person you have in your phone?
You, dude. Chris Simcoe.
Come on, man. Yeah, okay. That's not true, but thank you. Very humble. Thank you.
Dominic Doyle and Brandon Posh were regular friends, so I met Brandon's dad this year, so I think that makes us friends, right?
Yeah, Dean. Yeah, Dean's absolute awesome. I haven't met him, but
he's pretty popular.
Yeah, he is. He comments on my stuff all the time, so it's an absolute honor, man. Absolute, dude. So, do you have any superstitions?
I'm a little superstitious, yeah. Like, I follow like the knock on the wood thing, and I'm not super big on it, but don't walk under ladders. I don't know why that one sticks with me so much, but like, I won't walk under the ladder. I'll walk all the way around it or whatever it is. So yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's important, there's some greater powers out there we got to watch out for. You don't know which one's true. That's the problem with it being 2024. Can't believe anything anymore. So I got to be really careful. I'm picking and choosing my battles.
Well, I always tell people, man, just always ask questions and be open-minded. Always ask questions. Don't never just take your word for it. Be like, but why? And go do your own research when it comes to all that other stuff. And listen, man, my man Jake Marsh is in the house. What is up, man? Dude, Jake, him and his dad, I love them guys so much. They are so proper mega. They actually Jake Marsh right here, they run my logo, dude, in BSB on the race team, on the race bike, on their leather suits. It's
awesome.
Absolutely amazing. So Jake, my man,
do you have a podcast with him yet?
Oh yeah, he's been on here several times. I got another one with him coming up.
I'll have to peek at it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's dude, Jake's awesome. He races in the GP2 class, which is really cool. It's different than our 600 class. So a GP2 class, you're he uses a Triumph. It's a Triumph motor, right? But you use like a Kalax chassis and a swing arm, or a
Oh,
Suitor
sweet.
chassis and a Suitor swing arm, right? So you get all these adjustments you can do to the chassis and everything, but the motor's got to be stock. Versus you buy an R6 and you race a regular 600 versus the GP2s, your R6 could have motor work done to it, but no chassis at all. No chassis, got to be bone stock, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of evens the
Yeah,
playing field out.
pick and choose your poison kind of deal.
But to me, if it was me personally, I'd go with the GP2 because it's a little bit more money up front cost, right? But I got a stock motor and all this adjustability versus you got a stock chassis and all that, but you got 2 or 3 10,000 motors you're going to have to sink into it, throughout the
That's right.
season. If not, right. So to me, it'd be just a little, I guess, cost efficient, but that's the way I would go for sure. 110%, man. But yeah, listen, bro, this has been a lot of fun. We're 2 hours into this, dude, and I love it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Listen,
I hope some people enjoyed the show.
Dude, that always do. Absolutely, they will. And this is part one of many we're going to do together. Obviously, I want to follow you in Logan, your team this year in Moto America. So we'll do a midseason report. Well, we'll do one in Atlanta, and then we'll do a midseason, and of course, we'll all get together in Jersey at the end of the year. Yeah, do it again. Be absolutely. And in between there, I plan on coming down. We'll just have to work out a date to where I can come down there on the weekend when you're going to be there. And yeah, I'll spend the weekend with you and your team, and we can hang out.
That'd be awesome.
Podcast and all that cool stuff. It'd be great stuff. But listen, before we get off here, my man Ryan, RTR, tell everybody where they can find you at, how they can follow you, how they can support you, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, the easiest way is just to do a Google search for Ready to Ride NC, Ready to Ride NC as in North Carolina. You can find the website, which has all the apparel and gear. You can find the Facebook and Instagram, or you can just Google search my name, and it'll also come up, Ryen Snooks, with any of the Ready to Ride stuff. So please give us a like and a follow, because we plan on only making the sport better. So if you even think of a way that we can do it better, I'd love to hear about it. Or if you love the show, tell us about that too. I'll share it all on my personal pages and stuff, so that way we can get it across. I'm really thankful, Chris, for having me. It was really awesome time. Very, very, very fluid and very easy to work with.
I appreciate it, man. That's the goal, man. I want to, like my man said, be uncommon amongst uncommon people, right? I want to make everybody that comes on here, because we are friends, right? I want it to be not tense, not up, just relaxed, have fun, laugh, and cuss and all that bullshit. Maybe that's what it's about, man. For real, that's what it's having a good time.
Yeah, get to know me and you and a little bit more about the sport, everyone's perspective of the sport. That's really cool.
It is, absolutely. It's important. It's important because everybody has a role to play in our sport, and without one role, without that one role, it's not a whole no more, right? We're missing something. So everybody is I want to interview from the tire changers at the Dunlop guys to the corner marshal workers to the guy cooking up food for everybody that's just walking in. That's just a fan. I mean, dude, to me, those stories are just as important as everybody else's story in the game, right?
Right.
And everybody has a voice. And yeah.
Speaking of, man, shout out to all the corner workers out there. Because if we don't have people volunteering for corner working soon, track rates will only increase, because they have to pay them. So we need to volunteer and do that. If you can do it once a year, it's a huge, huge help. If you're not racing that round or something and you still want to be a part of the racing, just do corner working. And most of the time you get $100 or you get a free track day out of it too, something like that. You know what I mean?
It's a win-win situation.
Yeah. But that's the only way the sport will continue is if we give back. It's got to be a full circle kind of deal. If we just keep, road racers are really selfish. We take. That's because we think, oh, I need this. That's why I'm going to get better. But well, what does the sport need? And we have to remember that, So help a racer out, help your organization out, or maybe donate to the Road Race Action Fund or something like that.
Absolutely. And I have a saying too, is that none of us are strangers. We're just friends that haven't met yet. Right. So that's a motto that I kind of keen to take and tell people about. It's just a different way of looking at life, right? Like, you're not a stranger, we're just a friend that we haven't met yet, we hadn't crossed paths yet, right?
Yep.
But listen, it's been an absolute honor, dude. Listen, nothing but love for all you guys. Look at that. Boom, all the hearts coming out. But listen, yeah, you like that, didn't you? Yeah, look, let's do it again. Look at that. Yeah, baby, let's go.
Yeah. Oh, can I do it?
Dude, buddy. So I had a guest. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, what's up?
Yes, sir. That's it. You guys see it. But listen, real quick, but before I end this, man, I got to give my shouts out to big shout out again to RD Racing, Jake Marsh, Club 45, BSB, GP2 class. Go sign up for Club 45. Support my man Jake. Absolute legend. You guys can catch BSB for free at Bennett'sBritishSuperbikes.com. You can watch it for free. 2024. Don't miss it. Big shout out to my man Martin at theclothingkings.co.uk. They have all Pin to Gas merch. You can get hats, t-shirts, beanie hats, body warmers, soft shell jackets. So big shout out to them. If anybody's listening, wants some Pin to Gas merch,
get on there right now.
Yep, hit them up. Also, Ryan, I need your address because I got some Pin to Gas pod stickers I just got in that I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna give you some and let Logan some. So yeah, listen,
sure.
I'm very humbled, and I tell everybody, man, it's an honor, and thank you guys so much for liking the podcast, listening to me, and go like and subscribe on all social medias where I'm at, Spotify, iHeart, all that good stuff.
Push this podcast, make it happen, push it.
Let's do it. But yes, listen, and also share it. And RTR is hiring. So if you guys are looking for a job and you're in North Carolina, hit my man Ryen Snooks up for an interview.
We got bikes to fix. Like, we got race bikes. You don't want to work on this, but I mean, we got Kawasaki's, Yamahas. There's plenty to do. Plenty of tires to install. Please come and check it out. Thank you, Chris.
Dude, listen. Dude, you're very welcome. If anybody has any issues or you're interested in getting in touch with Ryan and you just can't find them, dude, drop me a message or call me. I'll put you direct contact with them. It's not an issue. So, yes, listen, I'm going to get off here. Thank you guys so much. I will be back on the podcast tomorrow, so you will see this face again tomorrow. And, Ryan, listen, Daytona, you already know I'm cheering for you, bro. And
we're coming for the gold. Want that rollie.
That W, baby. That's it. I need that.
Can't tell what time it is yet. Right.
I hear you. It's funny because my wife's like, "Do you have anything to do?" I'm like, "Let me check my Palm Pilot." I ain't got shit, right? But yes, listen, Ryan, what an honor. Go have fun. Tell everybody I said hello at the shop, and I'll shoot you a text message. We'll get on the phone. We'll plan our next one. And cool. Until then, I'll see you guys later. All right, Ryan. Dude. Hey,
take care, man.
Yeah, you too, my man. Look, a little thumb.